Good morning, Scott Cullen here, editor-in-chief of the Kanata Report. It's Friday morning. That means it's Fridays with Frank time. And I am here with Frank Kanata, our founder, once again for another episode. Hey, Frank, what is on your mind this morning?
Well, I thought it would be a good idea, Scott, to talk about our forecast, which is out on the street, so to speak, and people are reading our December, January issue, where we have our forecast included. I thought I would elaborate a little bit about the message that we hope the dealers received from that particular issue, and that is the absolute essential need for dealers to diversify their business. Diversification is essential. I think the motivation for it is clear. It's a reduction in clicks, without question. The switching or the changing of the makeup of the large MPS deals from A3 to A4, more A4 than A3. I don't think we've reached that point quite yet, but it's going in that direction. So if you have had fewer clicks and then a lower average unit selling price, because obviously A4 is less than A3, you've got an erosion in the business and therefore revenue and profit. So what is the answer? Well, the answer is, if a dealer takes a look at where his business was, as we discussed in our previous Fridays with Frank, was a lot different. It's smaller now, it's more compressed, it's more aggressive, simply because the revenue has to be expanded, and what dealers are doing in many cases is acquiring. Okay, that's not a bad thing to do, but that's not the sole answer. Those that haven't acquired are really hard pressed. Now, I think the manufacturer that we think addressed this properly was Sharp. And I give Mike Maruzic and his team kudos for that 5-city road tour they did. CJ and I went to the one in Chicago, and it was great because the focus of that meeting was diversification. They had a three dealer panel. It was Chip Maselli from Pulse, Mark Miller from EECS, and there was a third gentleman, and I apologize, I don't recall his name, I wasn't familiar with him. But essentially, these were three highly credible dealers that are very successful selling the Sharp product line and other product lines. They laid it all out. They laid it in terms of including Sharp smart boards on bids with for schools as well as for corporations. It was a no-brainer. Computers. Again, the margins are small, but it increases the revenue. And now it becomes your where you're able to increase the revenue, you're adding to the profitability of the deal. It is that simple. This is something that we've looked at for a long time, and thanks to when CJ joined us about 10 years ago, a little more than 10 years ago, we started going around the country visiting with dealers that we knew and have known for years and have a high regard for, to give CJ a sense of what these dealers were all about and what their story was. Well, we were visiting E.O. Johnson in Wausau, Wisconsin, and Roger King was president then, and of course, Mary Jo Johnson. We sat in their conference room and told us one heck of a story, because we all knew then that things were changing. There was a discussion then about the declining of margins and so forth. What were they doing? Well, they said that they had a plan where they looked upon the present MFP business, imaging business, if you will, in the office as roughly 50% of their business. The other 50% had to come from production print and IT services or managed services. And it just made so much sense to us. And just to jump ahead, I had a conversation with Dave Green, the current president of E.O. Johnson, and Dave said, that's where they're at. 50% of their revenue is in imaging, 50% is in production print and IT services. Good for them. So if a dealer has to just get hold of this and say, okay, where am I today? Take the revenue you had 10 years ago and say, that's going to provide half of what I need. Now you want to match that with other products. Now, in some cases, the manufacturer you're doing business may not have other products like Sharp has. I mean, as we point out in the forecast issue, wide format is a no-brainer. You can get them from multiple sources and a very profitable business that you could add. The advantage of adding products like that is you're selling a different customer. You're expanding your myth, not only from a standpoint of the type of business they're in, but into a different business where there's opportunities for expansion. For instance, wide format, you'd be selling contractors, realtors, architects. I think with the three architects and contractors, certainly 1 and 2, and to a lesser degree, realtors. And also retail has a strong application for wide format. It's a very profitable business. That's a simple one. They have machines that can print on latex that sell for around $10,000. That's a no-brainer for a dealer to buy 1 or 2 and put it one in his showroom and one in his warehouse. But there are other products that are out there, and we've gone to, I don't want to go through regurgitate the litany of all the things that can be done. Read the issue. We have a full explanation of it. But I think if there's going to be success with dealers doing it, unfortunately, it's going to have to come from themselves, because manufacturers can only focus on what they sell. They're not going to go out and they're not going to say, okay, you should go in and look at this. This is a particular area that you want to, because it's very attractive for your type of business. You're a business that sells and services on site. You respond to customers in a service capacity in less than, on an average of 4 hours or less. Is there any other distribution in this country that does that? None. I don't care how far you look. And if you found one, please educate us. Let us know who the heck it is, because we don't find them.